Now, as always, there has been a lot going on in the Oldschool Runescape economy over the last month or two. From tons of smaller updates to big ones like the Bounty Hunter update that just came out just yesterday, item prices have really just been all over the place. So today, once again, we're going to have a look at what is going on in the RuneScape market. Yesterday, finally, Bounty Hunter has returned. Version 2, 3, 4, I'm not really sure anymore, to be honest. But there's no doubt that this update has had the biggest effect on the market comparing to any other update in May. Now, although by design, Bounty Hunter does not produce any items, at least not any tradable ones, the market has still been affected quite significantly due to the increased demand for PK gear. Probably one of the most obvious examples is the Void Waker, one of the newest and most popular PK weapons, already up over 20 mil just in the first day, and as of today looks to still kind of be trending upwards. Another item that saw a gigantic spike is the Kraken Tentacle. The Kraken Tentacle went from only about half a mil, spiking up to like 1.5 mil in the first couple of hours, and still being worth over double. Tons of people are using this to create tentacle whips, which is a very popular weapon for Bounty Hunter. And you can see just in the volume, it went up to like 5 or 10 times higher in the first couple of hours, so the volume is way higher. Another item that was affected, the Armour God Sword, going from around 12 mil at the release to a peak of nearly 15 mil. It's pretty easy to see what items are getting used and which ones aren't, just based on their price. Kind of interesting. The Duroc armor set is seeing a ton of use right now. Even a pretty high volume armor like that is getting affected, up about 10% in value in just the first day. And even a cheap little item like Dragon Boots actually got affected percentage-wise quite significantly, going up about 30 or 40% in value from 140k to 200k, which is a lot for an item this cheap and this common. Now, one item this week that's price was affected a lot, but not in the way I thought, is the Bounty Teleport Scroll. This was such a low volume item that allows you to teleport to your Bounty Hunter target. Not particularly useful when Bounty Hunter, was completely disabled, but with the release of the new version, I thought the price would spike. But one of the few tradable items that you can buy with your Bounty Hunter points is this scroll, which means the price has actually gone down a bit and looks to be falling in value. So far lost about 30%. The only other tradable item that was actually released with Bounty Hunter, the Blighted Anglerfish, which actually once again did the opposite of what I expected and went up in price, going up to a peak of over 3,000 for a Blighted Anglerfish, which is weird because the regular one didn't even go up that high. Can you not use that in Bounty Hunter? That would be the only explanation I could think of. Now, the vast majority of items that had their price affected by Bounty Hunter are mostly PvP gear and weapons, but as you can see, a few consumable items were. Another one is actually the Super Combat Potion. Going up over 10% in just 24 hours is quite a lot for this item. The Truver Parchment is kind of a consumable item that was pretty quickly affected. People want to keep their infernal capes and stuff like that. Makes sense that this item has become a bit more popular. Now, the real question is this going to be a long-term price bump? And will prices actually continue up as more people figure out the meta for Bounty Hunter, more people try out Bounty Hunter, stuff like that? Or is it just a very temporary blip, and is the first couple days going to be the most popular? It's a bit too early to tell for that, but there's no doubt prices have been pretty significantly affected. Alright, so now we're going to move on to the more general market, and I wanted to start off by looking at just a few different interesting things that happened this month. Firstly, the graph we're looking at right now is for blue dragon scales. Now, I noticed the other day that collecting blue dragon scales was actually a decent moneymaker, and then I go look up the price for blue dragon scales and they have crashed by like 90%. Until just a few weeks ago, they were pretty consistently worth nearly 1,000 each. Actually a pretty expensive item for something you could theoretically just pick up off the ground. But yeah, now they're worth way less, and you can see the volume has absolutely exploded on this item, going from about 10,000 per day up to nearly 300,000 plus. Well, this is actually due to a newly released item, the Scaly Blue Dragonhide. This was added for the direct purpose of making dragon scales easier to get, and it, well, sure did that. Scaly Blue Dragonhide is dropped sometimes by any version of blue dragons, including Vorkath. Vorkath probably being the reason this tank's so hard. They're dropped at a rate of 1 out of 10. Each time you get one of these, you can cut it up into 50 blue dragon scales, which has made them incredibly more common. Currently, the scaly blue dragon head is going for around 10,000 each, and the dragon scale is going for 167. I imagine their price is going to continue down, maybe even further than this, but we'll have to wait and see. Now, another smaller update that I thought was kind of interesting, they made Laurent's keys tradable. Now, they were kind of pseudo-tradable before because you could purposely die to someone to trade them over the keys, and whenever stuff like that's possible, I do think it's better just to make the item tradable. Now, on the release, the Laurent's keys were going for about 200,000 each, and now they have fallen to about 160,000, so they've fallen by about 25% so far. Now, beyond the keys themselves, they have had an effect on the unique items, the Dagenhai rope set. Due to them now being simply tradable on the Grand Exchange, I think they're a lot easier for people to obtain, and I think more people are actually opening the Dagenhai chest. And you can see that the entire Dagenhai rope set has fallen by about a mil just in the last month or so, which I think is a bit of a knock-on effect from that update. Now, another really interesting price change I've noticed this month is on one of RuneScape's rarest items, the Third Age Axe. Now, in the last couple of months, the Third Age Axe has gone from 500 mil up to nearly a bill and is now falling back down again. What do you exactly make of this? I think it's a little suspicious, and we're highlighting this because I think this is a prime example of some price manipulation that is realistically possible on items with this low of a volume. Per day, there's only, a handful traded back and forth, which means it's really easy to trade a rare item back and forth between you and your alt account for the sole purpose of driving up the price. Now, it's a little less common now because of the GE tax. Every time you did this, you'd have to, pay 5 mil. But if you own quite a few Third Age Axes, it still might make sense. If you slowly drive up the price by doing self-trades for a couple of weeks and you even sell a couple of them for 900 mil, I mean, you've essentially nearly sold your axe for double what it might actually be worth. So it's definitely worth being mindful in rare markets like this because prices are very easily affected. Now, Prayer Experience has been quite in demand lately due to the impending release of Desert Treasure 2, but if you look more recently, bones have actually been crashing quite a lot. Dragon bones have gone from 3,000 down to 2,500 this month. So although there has been a big spike earlier in the year, it looks like the price has actually fallen quite a bit. Either people have actually leveled up their prayer high enough already, or the fact that the update is still potentially a few months away. The price of things like dragon bones or even superior bones have really been falling pretty quickly in May so far. And the final resource item I want to have a look at is we gotta take our weekly check-in with the Torsal Seed. Yesterday, it was actually worth 5,000 GP. It's just crazy. This item that used to be a 50k seed drop is now so devalued this year. But something's got to go in those drop tables, so I guess the Torsal Seed was the sacrifice. Now moving on to the PVM market, one item that has been falling a lot is the Zenite Shard. Looking back over the last couple of months, the Zenite Shard has gone from 13 mil to 7 mils, losing nearly 50% of its value in just a few months. Now, I've gotten this question a lot what the reason is, and I think it's a pretty simple one, just bots. Not much else to say about that, but Zenite's a very heavily botted item, and unless there is a big new PVM update coming out, which to be honest there kind of is, but that's really the only thing that ever pushes these items back up. Other sectors of the PVM market that have been hit a fair bit this month, as Zulrah items are falling pretty quickly. The blowpipe has been on a pretty large downward trend ever since March. Blowpipes are currently back to about 2.5 mil, with Zulrah scales falling at a pretty similar percentage. Back in March they were worth 200, and this week they are worth about 120. And the Bow of Faradinin not looking super hot either, continuing its pretty long-term downward spiral. It fell under 100 mil for the first time, I think ever, back in April, but now it's under 90 mil. It's 88 mil for a Bow of Faradinin. The explanation again is going to be a simple one. I think it's just bots. I mean, it's still a very good weapon, but I think just a lot of people are botting the Corrupted Gauntlet, and that's just why the prices are falling. Now, although the mid to late game PVM market's not looking super hot, the trifecta of endgame items are looking very strong. Like the Twisted Bow is going for 1.4 bill, which is unheard of. That is still like pretty much its highest price ever, continuing a very long-term now upward trend. I think a lot of people just don't trust Jagex to release a piece of content where the Twisted Bow isn't good. It was good at the Phantom Muspa, it was good at Raids 3. You know, I think it will see some use with Desert Treasure 2, or at least I think a lot of people think it will. The Scythe has actually gone up a lot in the last couple of months as well, for a similar reason. Pretty much every time a big piece of PVM content comes out, the Scythe goes up because everyone thinks this time the Scythe will be good. And it's possible maybe this time it will be, but historically, the Scythe has not been used at many locations, partly due to its high upkeep cost, but also it's just straight up not that good at a lot of new content. But I think people are willing to take that risk because if it is, the Scythe could go up to, you know, a bill, who knows. And finally here we have the Tunican Shadow, which has managed to hold still a pretty consistently high price. It has been falling a little bit the last couple of months, but overall, remarkably consistent. 1.3 bill for a pretty new item from one of the most popular raids means this item has incredible demand and has been widely used, which I think there's no doubt the Tunican Shadow has. And finally here, we always like to have a look at the Oldschool Runescape bond. The last couple of months, bonds have been slowly trending upwards, with a pretty big spike in mid-May of an 8 mil bond once again. Going into the summer, prices for bonds are still looking incredibly high, and I think although normally there's a bit of a crash early fall, you know, I think we're headed for a 10 mil bond pretty soon here. It's gonna happen. The question really is just when. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed the market analysis. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Now before I go here, I want to give a giant thank you to all of my members over on YouTube. Thank you so much to Alejandra, Mitch Reinders, The Hybrid, and Kush Patel for all being subscribed at the Dragon tier. You guys are awesome. I do really appreciate it. Also thank you to Kapersky, YoYoSub89, and NDM0001 for being subscribed at the Runite tier. Thanks everyone again, and I'll see you next time.